Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. The MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 118, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and with me once again is my best pal, Brian Hall.
Heyo! What's up, Zachy?
How's it going? We're back. It's been a week.
I know, it's funny. I feel like we've been on a roll here. I feel like I've been, between the commentary and our last episode.
We caught the fever,
yeah.
Brian. I feel the fever. The podcasting fever.
Well, I hope there's no prescription for what you got.
It's just cowbell. That's the only thing. That's all there is.
How you doing?
Well, it's daylight out, which is nice as we're recording this, and what I've realized is that generally speaking, our energy level is slightly more when it's light out.
Yeah, we have noticed this about ourselves. Like
Yeah.
when we tend to do this after a long day at 10 p.m., we're a little more sluggish. It's weird.
And I'd like to think that hopefully our regular listeners don't pick up on that because we're professionals, Brian.
Yeah, this is all in theory. I'm saying if we did this late at night at 10, we would sound more sluggish. But I bet no one will be able to assume that about any previous episodes.
That's right. So it's fun. I'm glad to be doing this. And I saw a really interesting documentary just yesterday, which I want you to check out.
Okay.
It's on Hulu, and it's called Batman and Bill.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Have you heard of this?
I have.
So for those of you who may not know sort of the ins and outs of comic book history, Batman, since he was created in 1939, has always been credited to one person, Bob Kane, up until recently.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at all of the old Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher movies, even the Dark Knight movies, Batman created by Bob Kane. And the sort of dirty little secret of comic book history, which everybody kind of knew, it was like an open secret, was that Bob Kane was this self-obsessed scumbag who stole credit for co-creating Batman from a fella named Bill Finger, who was the writer who Bob Kane worked with. And he sort of helped tweak the design of Batman into what we think of now, the pointed cowl, the bat symbol, the gray leotard, Robin, the Batcave, the Batmobile, Alfred. I mean, basically everything now that we think of as sort of essential Bat canon came not from Bob Kane, but from Bill Finger.
Did he come up with the Bat cannon?
He may have. You'll have to watch the movie to find out. But Bob Kane, like throughout his life, basically went out of his way to deny Bill Finger credit until after Bill Finger passed away, destitute and alone in the mid-70s.
Unbelievable.
It's one of these stories that just breaks your heart on a whole host of levels. But it's one of those things where, like, for me, even as a teenager, I knew that this was something Bob Kane had done. Like, when he died, I was like, die, you horrible old man.
Really? Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Because he died in, like, 98. And I knew at that time, I was like, well, he's a friggin' asshole, and good riddance.
Wow. Huh.
And maybe that's a little harsh, but I honestly don't think it's harsh, because I think that he had it in his power to do the right thing.
Right.
But instead, he spent, his latter years living high on the hog and basking in the adulation of being the creator of Batman, knowing that he, had done this wrong shit. And by the way, I may have mentioned this on an earlier show. If you look at his gravestone, which you can find online, it's this ridiculous, like, novella written to him.
Really?
Right? I'm going to assume he did not, like, prepare his own tombstone before he died. Maybe he did. Some people do that, right?
Right.
Let's assume it was somebody else. But it's like Bob Kane and Bruce Wayne, they are one and the same. Both value justice. And I mean, it's just this cockamamie, just load of horse shit, right?
Wow.
You got to just Google Bob Kane tombstone. You'll see.
Okay.
I'm not making this up.
No. Where's this documentary available? I want to watch it tonight, honestly.
Yeah, it's a Hulu documentary, and it all started with this guy, Mark Nobleman, who I love the fact that his last name is like his superhero. He's Nobleman.
That's funny.
Because he saw this injustice. He's like, this is just wrong.
Yeah.
And we need to fix this, and we need to make DC and Warner Brothers acknowledge that another guy co-created Batman. Not even another guy created Batman. There's, it's shared credit.
Right.
And he fought for more than a decade, or just about a decade, and his efforts bore fruit because now, starting with Batman v Superman, and forever, it will say Batman created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but I mean, if you've seen the films, you know that this is the case now.
Well, learn the story
Superman,
of, yeah.
Yeah, Gotham now, the TV show, the Lego Batman movie, it's all Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and it's all because of this guy, Mark Nobleman, fighting like hell.
Man, what a damn shame for Finger to die without ever knowing that his work, his contributions would be recognized.
There's this anecdote in the film that's like beautiful and tragic, where Bill Finger wrote an episode of the 1960s Batman show. Mm-hmm. And that episode, he co-wrote it. And that episode is the one and only credit that he has for Batman.
Wow.
Up to that moment. So none of the comics had his name, nothing. And he co-wrote it with a friend of his, and so they submitted the thing, and it was like the title page, it was like the episode title, I forget what it is, and, the friend and Bill Finger. Mm-hmm. And Bill Finger tells his friend, he's like, would you mind giving me top billing? Just this once, I'd like to have top billing. you know? And you get the sense of this guy who was kind of a genius, but also probably soft-spoken and kind of got steamrolled a little bit.
Yeah. Well, steamrolled by a man who has this on his tombstone. Ready?
Yes, please.
God bestowed a dream upon Bob Kane. Blessed with divine inspiration and a rich imagination, Bob created a legacy known as Batman. Introduced in a May 1939 comic book, Batman grew from a tiny acorn into an American icon. A hand of God creation, Batman and his world personify the eternal struggle of good versus evil, with God's laws prevailing in the end. Bob Kane, Bruce Wayne, Batman, they are one and the same. Bob infused his dual identity character with his own attributes: goodness, kindness, compassion, sensitivity, generosity, intelligence, integrity, courage, purity of spirit, a love of all mankind. Batman is known as the Dark Knight, but through his deeds he walks in the light of a higher power, as did his creator, Bob Kane.
See, I mean that guy is the one who spent decades just being honored and feted for creating Batman. And the one thing I can only say is, why him?
Huh. Well, damn it! I was like, Zachy set me up. I was like, yeah, why Bob Kane? Oh, Zachy's like setting me up for a transition. I saw the movie Why Him. How do I do the dance between his transition and me saying that I saw the film Why Him? Anyway, so I saw a film called Why Him. This was a film that came out this past Christmas.
This is also why we should really rehearse before we record.
I think I was actually still sort of staring at his tombstone, Bob Kane's tombstone, and looking at it. Anyway, so Why Him? This was a movie that came out with James Franco, Bryan Cranston. It was basically Meet the Parents remake, coincidentally written and directed by the person who wrote Meet the Parents. And,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? You got this girl, come meet my quirky boyfriend, and he's like really crass and loud and a father's nightmare. So I didn't really have any interest in watching this movie originally, but it happened to be in my apartment, and so I was like, well, Friday night, I'm really brain dead tired, let's put this in. And I I was like half and half on this movie. I would say ultimately I do not recommend it. It's not a good movie. It had a couple laughs in it. It had Keegan-Michael Key. There's a scene with Keegan-Michael Key and Bryan Cranston together in a bathroom that is hilarious. And I'd recommend finding it on YouTube or something. But I just found this movie so disappointing because this coming from the guy who wrote Meet the Parents, which I think is great. Okay. Meet the Parents is like a very relatable, heightened comedic things that happen, but nothing totally outside the realm of possibility. So you can completely relate with the trials that Ben Stiller's character is going through as he's meeting his intimidating new in-laws. But in this movie, it was basically like James Franco coming up with new, colorful, weird, like, it's so funny. We don't swear this much on the show, but like, just trying to come up with things like, yeah, it'd be whatever than like a sandwich full of cocks or something like that. And it's like, Bryan Cranston be like, and it was like, well, why would you even say that anyway? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, they just kept like trying to top the outrageous, dirty things that he would say. And I'm like, well, these aren't jokes. Like, these are just him saying like really crazy, colorful things, and Bryan Cranston going, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, ready for the jokes. Like, where are the jokes? And every now and then there was, an amusing thing that would happen, but it was just like, and then by the end, it turns into that typical thing where like Kiss shows up for some reason, and it's like, Kiss, what's Kiss doing here? Like, I think that all started with Billy Idol on the airplane in The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler. Yeah, it's like Billy Idol in my life. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, it just became a thing throughout the years, and I was like, oh, are we still doing this? So it was frustrating because it's like they weren't even trying with the comedy. And Bryan Cranston is so good. So good. Okay. Like, what he's doing in this movie is great. And he's effortless. Like, he's just, I was like, and not only that, but this is the same guy that played Walter White, I just can't even reconcile that in my brain. And I was like, this guy is an American treasure. Like, he is. And I just wish, knowing that this is the person that produced Meet the Parents, I was like, this could have been a good movie, but I think they were trying so hard to be like a Judd Apatow movie where they're like, just let the actors say whatever they want and just be as outrageous as you feel. And,
let Franco.
Yeah, and there was a scene too where, crud, what's her name? Megan Mullany. She plays Bryan Cranston's wife, and she gets high because
from Will and Grace, Megan Mullally.
Yes, okay. And when the straight-laced person gets high, because that hasn't been played out at all.
Comedy gold.
Yeah, and so then there's this literally like 5-minute scene where she is high trying to get Bryan Cranston to have sex with her, and it's basically just her pulling down her pants and like knocking him over, and it went on and on and on, and I was like, what is the deal? And then when it ended, nothing happened. Like, nothing was accomplished. I was like, why is that even in the film? And I went on IMDb trivia. I always go on IMDb trivia after I watch something, and they're like, yeah, it was Megan Mullally who had this funny idea about her being high in this scene, and so they threw it in the movie. I was like, there it is. Like, it wasn't in the script. It didn't make any sense. It was just, I don't know. Maybe really it cracked them up on set somehow. And so they let's waste 6 minutes of people's time. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on here. There's one part too. This is another sort of pet peeve of mine where it's like, there's a good example of this and a bad example of this. You have a moment where there's like this a whole group of people with Bryan Cranston, and they see his daughter over Skype, and they see James Franco basically like naked, like, oh, they just had sex or something like that. And so then the next day, Cedric the Entertainer plays his coworker, Cranston's coworker, and he's basically like, yeah, but I mean, it looks like your girl got it yesterday. I mean, she got it on. I mean, she did the sideways honk, and I'm like, dude. Like, they basically were like, just say whatever you want and we'll pick one, but they decided to use all 10.
To use all of them.
Yeah, and I seriously, I think out loud, I was like, cut. Like, stop. And it just felt like the worst tendencies of an Apatow film. But these people weren't as talented as some of the people.
And they're not in an Apatow movie.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, it was too bad. Like, it had a couple chuckles and whatnot, but
it's a shame because you can see the comedy starring Bryan Cranston and James Franco that you totally want to watch.
Totally. And Franco's good. Like he's doing the thing that he's doing. Like he's a engaging presence. That's what I should say. But like just the stuff they're giving them are just so
it's not like
lazy.
Pauly Shore in Son-in-Law or something.
No, Son-in-Law is better than this movie. So I mean, it's just such a kind of a baffling sort of like
them's harsh words.
I stand by them. So
wow.
Yeah, it's just I just maybe I don't know. I sort of take offense sometimes when I'm like, you didn't even try thinking of jokes. Like you just thought like if I said something outrageous, everybody would laugh, and you can't do that for like 90 minutes. So anyway, why him?
Oh, there we go.
But then the other day, instead of why him, I said, who, me? When I got to attend the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
You segued to yourself.
To make up for that piss poor setup you gave me. But out of the blue, I got found out I was able to go to the MTV Movie and TV Awards yesterday, which was quite an experience.
So you've never been before?
Never been to that. I've never been to an award show, and that honestly was the most fascinating part of it. Seeing a huge production like that behind the cameras, and just seeing. Like it opens up with like a huge production number. Like this year, Beauty and the Beast was in a lot of categories. So they had a huge musical opening number, and it was about, everything going wrong, and then the staircase sets on fire and whatnot. And it was really cool to see them set it up and then have this fire and whatever. And then all of a sudden they cut to someone else on another part of the stage. And then all these stagehands come out, move the stage, do this thing. All this behind the scenes stuff happening while other things are happening. It was a really cool like ballet to watch happen. But it's still the MTV Movie Awards, like the categories. I think they're trying to revamp themselves and get themselves taken a little more seriously. I mean, people watch them for fun, but their categories were like, best backflip in a movie starring Vin Diesel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They had like all these sort of like silly categories. And this year, I think they tried to make it a little more.
So my question too, I feel like you finally got to attend the MTV Awards just as you're kind of no longer the audience for the MTV Awards.
Believe me, this was completely on my mind. and it was funny because like best actor in a movie, well, this isn't a very good example, but there was like Daniel, was it Kaluuya, I'm sorry, from Get Out, and Haley Steinfeld and The Edge of 17, and Hugh Jackman and Logan and whatever. And then the winner ends up being like Emma Watson in Beauty and the Beast, which I've heard is sort of like,
that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, but you're just like, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? These are for and a really good the best example I can give of this was I was like, oh, this is MTV. There'll be like musical acts. This is gonna be awesome. But then it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna know any of the musical acts. And they go, coming up now we got Miley Cyrus, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. This is his sister, and I was like, what? And so Miley Cyrus's sister came out, and she did a performance, and her song was just like total like background at Abercrombie that you don't even remember as you're listening to it, kind of a thing. And it was funny because everybody in the crowd was not digging it. It was so apparent. And I actually felt a little bad for her because the people around me were even like, ugh, and like kind of making faces and stuff. And then she's like, everybody get up. And you could seriously almost sense everyone in their seats sit lower.
Really?
Yeah, it was really fascinating. I was like,
Is her name like Nepotisha?
Yeah, I think it's Noah or something like that. So it's like NC, and then she had this big NC-17 thing behind her. I was like, edgy.
Lord. Yeah. Well, Dad has dropped the Billy Ray.
That's right.
Now
he's just Cyrus, right?
Cyrus.
Which sounds like a hacker from the 90s.
Right.
Oh, it is, right?
Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the Virus. That's right. But yeah, but it was pretty cool. I mean, you got to see like I was happy like see Emma Watson in person, Goldie Hawn, and was there for Snatch, and I was like, Goldie Hawn, that's cool. And the Fast and Furious cast got like a legacy award or something.
Because that's how old we are now.
Yeah, because everyone who was there, that's as long as they've been alive. There's been Fast and Furious movies. But but it was cool. I was like, oh, there's Gal Gadot, that's freaking Wonder Woman, and there's Vin Diesel, and so it was cool. I mean, not knocking the ceremony at all.
Neat experience. I mean,
totally neat experience. Yeah,
to be there in the crowd.
and Adam Devine was the host. And that's kind of interesting because I'd met him like a year or two ago at a voice recording for an animated show, and he was like super cool guy, like really nice, friendly, and it's just interesting to see his trajectory currently. You know, and now he's sort of doing
Isn't he from Workaholics?
Yeah, Workaholics, and I feel like he had a couple shows on Comedy Central, and then he has like, I want to say, isn't it like American Express or something, like commercials and doing this thing? I don't know. It's been interesting, and he's a funny guy, so it's kind of cool to see him up there doing his thing. But yeah, seeing a full-scale, huge production was a really interesting experience.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. But moving on, Brian, we do have some other headlines.
Yes, we do.
So this is a big one. We kind of missed this last time, and I wanted to make sure that we did give this person his due. The great Jonathan Demme has passed away.
Right.
And man, what a bummer. I saw this and I was like, he was young, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Another example of cancer. He was 73, which in director years means he still had lots of years of productivity left.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But he did Silence of the Lambs. He did the Manchurian Candidate remake, which I love. He did Philadelphia. Really just one of the seminal directors, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Swing Shift, have you seen that?
Well, I'm sorry?
Swing Shift with Kurt Russell.
I don't know if I've seen that. Swing Shift.
That's kind of that's the Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. He was also in Something Wild.
Right.
Or he directed, rather, Something Wild.
Right. Rachel Getting Married. And I saw that, looking at his IMDb, I mean, he's working all the way up through this year.
Yeah. And, I mean, his nephew was Ted Demme.
Right.
Who also passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, sad.
It is, and I was thinking, I was like, if he never made Silence of the Lambs, he would still be one of the great directors.
Mm-hmm.
And if he only made Silence of the Lambs, he would still be one of the great directors.
Right, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's I think that's probably what he's best known for. But I mean, again, one of his films that I really love that I don't feel gets its due is his remake of The Manchurian Candidate, which I think is at least as good as the original.
Wow.
You know, I don't know if you've ever
How often
seen
does that happen?
Yeah, basically never.
Yeah. No, I have not seen it, but I'm very familiar with you being a fan of it.
Yeah, and for those of you listening, if you have not seen the remake of The Manchurian Candidate, first of all, if you haven't seen the original, you should absolutely watch that, the John Frankenheimer film with Frank Sinatra. But the remake, Denzel Washington, Liev Schreiber, Meryl Streep, Anthony Mackie's in it. I mean, this is a legit movie. Vera Farmiga, John Voight, and again, as I said, I mean, I actually screen it in my media class every semester. I do a back-to-back, so I screen the original and the remake both, right, one after the other.
Yeah.
To show, like, look, here's two tellings of the same story. Both are good, and yet both are very different. And they're both strong, you know?
Yeah.
But a real shame about Jonathan Demme.
Yeah.
Have you seen Philadelphia?
I have.
I was watching the trailer for Philadelphia, and then I pulled up I don't know if you remember this, on Saturday Night Live, they did a commercial, like a fake commercial for Philadelphia action figures.
Oh, I do remember that, yeah.
Folks, if you have Google Philadelphia action figures, SNL, I think you can see it on the Yahoo page. It's so funny.
I didn't even realize, I'm looking at this, that Philadelphia came 2 years after Silence of the Lambs.
That's right.
So close to one another. I don't know why that strikes me as something.
And that was the first of Tom Hanks's back-to-back Best Actor Oscars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a shame, Jonathan Demme. He will be missed. Moving on, we have a sequel that I'm not sure we need, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, granted, that phrase could apply to like the majority of sequels.
Yes.
So Edge of Tomorrow came out in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a movie that you and I, at the time, were vociferous in our praise for.
Mm-hmm.
We both loved it.
Yeah.
And people did not go to see this initially.
Right.
And I think it's become sort of a cult hit.
Right.
On home video. But for sure, it was not one when it came out.
Right. I mean, certainly beloved by internet
yes.
people. Yeah.
So this is something where they said a while ago. Tom Cruise was like, we want to do a sequel. It stars Tom Cruise, is directed by Doug Liman. Emily Blunt was also in it. And when he first said it, I was like, yeah, sure. And I think it's dumb because I think Edge of Tomorrow is one of those movies that it's got a beginning, middle, and an end. We don't need anything else.
Right.
To me, it's like making a sequel to Looper.
Right.
Like, what are you going to do? You know. But they are in fact doing a sequel to Edge of Tomorrow, and the title that they've announced, and I hope this is a placeholder title, is Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
Yeah, that does not roll off the tongue.
That, we're talking about SNL parodies. That sounds like an SNL parody.
It absolutely does. And it's funny that you say that about sequels because I forgot about this, but when I was reading the article about this, in the back of my head, without it was just a thought. It wasn't even formed into words, but I was like, does everything need a sequel?
Yeah.
And then I realized, I'm like, oh, right. I live on planet Earth.
Yeah. I mean, but this is one of those things where I'm really like, what story is there to tell?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's all been wrapped up and quite neatly.
I mean, this is not like a Jack Reacher type thing where we're like, oh, okay, let's follow the character onto a new adventure, or even Mission Impossible.
Well, yeah, and this is one of those movies where the discovery is half the fun of the film.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, I mean, it's like making a sequel to Groundhog Day. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, because it ends with the loop having been broken, right?
Yeah.
So, does he get stuck in a loop again?
Yeah, which would feel like, here we go again.
Yeah. It looks at the camera and kind of shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like John Krasinski in The Office.
But, you know what? I do have to say, I do like Tom Cruise and I do like Doug Liman, so it makes me wonder, I mean, they must have something if they're willing, with their busy schedules and plates. Obviously, they see something in this.
They see some potential.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, well, Doug Liman, kind of an interesting... Now, you, of course, worked on a movie directed by Doug Liman.
Mm-hmm. Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You were there. You were there for the beginning of Brangelina.
That's right.
The birth of Brangelina.
Yeah.
So Doug Liman, I feel like he tends to be kind of picky about what he takes on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. However, I'm going to... Maybe this is an unpopular opinion. Not a big fan of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, I buy that. Like, when I watch it, I can only see it as like a yearbook, if that makes sense. Because every frame of it, I'm like, oh, I remember that. I was there. I remember hanging out there. You know what I mean? Like, but I realize that it's kind of corny and.
I mean, I think it's fine for what it is, but I don't think there's anything particularly Lyman-esque about it.
Yeah.
Whereas I look at like The Bourne Identity, and he brought something kind of interesting to that. Right. And obviously movies like Go and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And, I think Edge of Tomorrow has... I mean, it's a unique film. Mm-hmm. I just... I don't know what there is to offer beyond that. But that being said, I mean, Doug Liman, he was attached to Gambit for a while, the X-Men spin-off Gambit, which we've been talking about like forever.
For a while now. Yeah.
It's been a while. It was supposed to come out last year.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. It was supposed to come out last year. Not go into production. But he's talked a little bit about why he dropped out of making that film.
Right.
And essentially he's just like, I couldn't find an in to that character.
Yeah, personally.
Which I agree 100% with. I think the X-Men fans have this boner for Gambit, which is, the character is kind of just whatever.
See, that's funny because I didn't really watch the cartoon growing up. I only really know what's in the films. So I don't really have anything for this character either. And just Channing Tatum, superhero, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, it's funny because Lauren Schuler Donner, who is the producer of those movies, she's like, no, it's going to get made. Like, Channing Tatum is as passionate about Gambit as Ryan Reynolds is about Deadpool. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't set that like as the bar for.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's just such like I was just thinking that is such like a producer quote.
Right.
Movie you like is like movie you like.
Yeah. Movie we want you to like is like movie you like. Well, we don't know if the Gambit movie is ever going to happen, but here's another movie which I didn't expect would happen, and this is another one I don't see the utility of, but they're doing a Hellboy reboot.
And it's about time.
It's right. The world has been clamoring. Now this is interesting because for a while they'd been talking about doing a third one. Right. And Hellboy is one of these franchises that I think it's destined to always be kind of a cult thing.
Yes.
I think you have a movie called Hellboy, the audience is basically in kind of a box.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now the truth is I like both of the Hellboy movies.
You tried to show me one of them one time.
Yeah, that's right. I think the first one.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
Well, we watched it pretty late.
Yeah, it wasn't the movie's fault.
I mean, and I remember you even saying, like, because this was like...
I wanted to see it. I was eager.
Well, it's, Guillermo del Toro, he's not going to make a movie that's not at least visually interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it was a labor of love. Both of those films were a labor of love for Guillermo del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
And they're based on this comic book character. And it's like Ron Perlman was put on this earth to play Hellboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so for a while they were talking about doing a third one by Del Toro, starring Ron Perlman. But for whatever reason, they're not doing that. So now, of course, in lieu of a sequel, we just reboot. We don't just do sequels by different people.
Yeah.
Like, remember when that would be an option? Like, oh, okay, Del Toro doesn't. Okay, we'll just get somebody else to do one.
Yeah.
But no, reboot. But what's interesting to me is not so much that they're rebooting. It's going to be directed by Neil Marshall, who he's a Game of Thrones director.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to star David Harbour.
Okay. I'm going to pretend like I know who that is. Who's that?
David Harbour is... Google him. You'll recognize him.
Okay. I'm embarrassing myself now, aren't I?
Yeah, you for sure know who he is.
Okay.
So I'm going to pause as you Google David Harbour.
I'm on IMDb right now. David Harbour. The Equalizer?
He's in The Equalizer.
Oh, yeah, Stranger Things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's the guy who's been in, like, everything.
Yes. Jim Hopper, Stranger Things, is in Suicide Squad, one of those guys around the table, like, they're villains?
Yeah, right. So David Harbour is somebody who, like, kind of now is breaking through.
Yeah.
But he's been around forever. Like, I've always liked him.
Yeah, I'm just going through. Yeah, he's got a lot of credits going all the way back.
He was in The Newsroom. He's in State of Play. Just on and on and on.
He's in all sorts of stuff. He's in Kinsey, Brokeback Mountain, War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
On The Unit, Law and Order, State of Play, Lie to Me, Green Hornet. All sorts of stuff.
Bunch of stuff. So I'm kind of like, well, I can kind of see that.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be fine. I mean, it'll take some convincing me to show me it's worth coming to.
Yeah, so my interest in this is purely not so much as like, oh, I can't wait to see it, but like, oh, it'd be nice to see like David Harbour have a success that's like all his own.
Sure.
If it's a success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is one of those movies that you don't spend $150 million
That's
on.
exactly right.
Yeah.
This is like you spend $40 million and you're happy if it makes 60.
Yeah.
Because that was the problem. I mean, they overspent on the second one, which came out the same summer as The Dark Knight, as I recall.
Oh, wow.
That was like this great summer for comic book movies because it was just like Iron Man 1, smash hit. The Dark Knight, smash hit. Hellboy 2, not so much. It was like one of those things.
Well, like you said, I mean, that was always destined to be for a certain group of people.
Exactly. And those people know who they are.
Yeah. You know who you are.
You know it. Moving on, though, we do have some trailers, Brian. We got kind of a mini bumper crop of trailers here.
Mm-hmm.
So start things off, we have The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
This is one of these movies that has been in development, again, since, like, forever.
Yeah, I seriously thought Ron Howard still was directing it until I looked it up.
Me too!
Yeah. Yeah.
Because so a while ago, I don't even know when, to be honest, they were like, oh, yeah, Ron Howard is doing it.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be like a trilogy, and there's going to be a TV series in the middle. There was like a whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this must have been like 7 years ago, I think. 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
Where Ron Howard was attached.
Yeah.
And actually, before that, J.J. Abrams was attached.
Really?
Yeah. So this thing has been kicking around Hollywood's anus for a while. Right. Hollywood is backed up right now, basically. Yeah. But for a while there, it was like they wanted what's his name? Skyfall guy, the bad guy. What's his name? Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
They wanted him as the lead, and the I think the studio was like, nobody can understand what he's saying. Which I don't necessarily disagree with, by the way. I like Javier Bardem. But anyway, I don't know what became of those plans or if they're still in play. It's still produced by Ron Howard. He's not directing. And this is based on the Stephen King series of books.
Mm-hmm. Which I have not read.
I know less than nothing about.
Yeah, ditto.
Okay, so we're the perfect audience to be talking about this.
Yeah.
All I know is that people love it.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is directed by Nicolaj Arcel, who directed nothing that I know of.
Yeah, well, he wrote the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that's standing out to me here.
The movie he wrote.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see anything in his filmography that is familiar to me.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the original, not the David Fincher one.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
then that's kind of out of the box here. But the film stars Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, and it's an adaptation of the book series, but apparently it's also a sequel to the books.
Right. Which I'm finding out from comment sections.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they just released the trailer for this. The film comes out in August. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we're now just a few months before it comes out for the first trailer, that's kind of bold.
For a movie as big as I assume they're anticipating this one to be, yeah.
They just released the trailer. Why don't we play some of the audio from the trailer and then we can talk about it.
Who are you?
It's you. You're a gunslinger, right?
There are no gunslingers. Not anymore.
Why does the man in black want to destroy the tower?
The tower protects both our worlds. If it falls, hell will be unleashed.
He's like the devil, isn't he?
No, he's worse.
You can't stop what's coming. Death always wins.
Your world might be gone, but mine isn't. If you let that tower fall, billions of people die.
Do they have guns and bullets in your world?
You're gonna like Earth a lot.
Okay, so Brian, this trailer did nothing for me.
Yeah, it set up a lot of concepts and imagery that I was like, I want to get excited about this thing.
Yes.
Right? Like a boy in this sort of dark, sort of good against evil, western-y, but sort of horror / sci-fi-ish mythology. I was like, that sounds like something I should love. But yeah, I agree. The trailer didn't move me very much. Which is too bad, because like I said, all those things I just said excite me. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll see for trailer 2 or some reviews.
It feels you watch the trailer and you feel like it's kind of going, hey, you know this, right? Mm. Hey, look at this. You know this thing, right? You know what this is.
That's pretty funny.
I'm like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like it's leaning on a familiarity that it assumes the audience has.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Which you've got to assume, similar to Hellboy, there is a fan base for this, but it's not everybody. Like this is Twilight or some sort of like book phenomenon that the whole world read.
Yeah, well, and I mean the fact that they're trying to paint it as this major new franchise.
Yeah.
This is Sony, I think.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, and I only say that in like, oh, poor Sony.
It is Sony. I mean, I feel like they might be overestimating how this is going to play.
Yeah.
So that's The Dark Tower, but that's not the only trailer we have, Brian.
Yeah, what else we got?
Well, we have a new trailer, the full trailer, which just dropped earlier today for Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
So let's play some of that.
There is an order to things. That's what we do here.
we keep order.
The world is built on a wall that separates kind. Tell either side there's no wall. You bought a war.
You're a cop. I had your job once. I was good at it. I know.
So I got to tell you, if you'd have told me a few years ago that A, there's going to be a Blade Runner sequel, and B, it looks pretty good, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah. I mean, there's imagery in this movie. I'm like, or this trailer. I'm like, that is Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as story goes, like, we'll wait and see. But like you said, if they were going to announce this, you would have something in your head of how they would modernize it or make it look different. But this looks completely related to the original film.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because the question that a lot of people have been posing online is there an audience for this? I mean, can you lean on nostalgia the way this one is? And you know, that's a good question because, I mean, Blade Runner is more beloved than it is successful.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I believe I read that this costs like $180 million or something.
Which feels like maybe that's not how
like
much you want to spend.
$80 million too much.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I would love it to be awesome and I'd love it to be a huge success, but yeah, that seems... I would be biting my nails, whatever studio's putting this out. Warner's, I guess?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the look. Mm-hmm. It looks, you know, of a piece with the earlier film.
Yeah. I mean, astoundingly so.
Yeah, you know. And I think we've talked about this before. If Denis Villeneuve was not directing, I don't know how interested... we would be, like, even if Ridley Scott was directing, I would be less interested than I am that Denis Villeneuve is directing.
Right. I mean, is that because he had his shot with Prometheus and you're like, oh, it doesn't always, you can't always go home?
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, I will say this. If Ridley Scott was not directing it, I would have zero interest. Mm-hmm. But when they announced Denis Villeneuve, I'm like, wow, that's even more interesting to me than Ridley Scott.
Right. Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
So I'm kind of like, well, I would have said like 2 years ago, there's no one other than Ridley who can do it.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm like, oh, this guy is,
right.
You know.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm not necessarily being critical of Ridley Scott, although yes, obviously I have my issues with Prometheus. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, I've heard enough people be like, you know, you should really revisit it, you know, and I'm like, I'm considering it, but I'm not sure I want to.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said too, like, I don't hate it. Like, I not thrilled about all of the story or whatnot, but it was a very memorable theater going experience for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I concur. I mean, you know, the new Alien film, which is a direct sequel to Prometheus, is coming out very shortly. So I'm tempted to go back and watch Prometheus, but I feel like that's one of those, like, you watch it once and you're done kind of movies.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of aliens, however, we are planning to drop a special commentary track about aliens. Timed probably the second one, right, Brian? What do you think? We could do the first. We could do Alien or Aliens. I'm kind of leaning on Aliens.
Yeah, let's do that.
So that's
the Cameron aficionado buffs, whatever you want to call it. We are.
That's true. I mean, I think that we're talking about sequels that are necessary. I think Aliens is a movie that was not necessary by any stretch, but it's friggin' awesome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'd love the chance to go through it with you. And actually, speaking of Blade Runner, this is as good a time as any to bring up that there is a book coming out later this year called The Cyberpunk Nexus, Exploring the Blade Runner Universe. It's edited by my friends Lou Tambone and Joe Buongiorno, and I will have an essay featured in this book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this is a book looking at different aspects of Blade Runner, both the film and the universe, and my chapter is looking at the other adaptations of Philip K. Dick, who is his book. Blade Runner is based on a novel called "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?" Mm-hmm. So he's also served as the inspiration for Total Recall, mm-hmm. and the movie Paycheck, and you name it.
Yeah.
People love Dick. So lots of screen adaptations.
I love Dick, starring
That's right.
Kevin Bacon and Kathryn Hahn, now debuting, I believe, on Amazon Prime.
I'm going to use that quote out of context.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some mileage out of that.
I might as well throw it out there. My friend Anna Vogt worked on that. I haven't seen it, but supporting my friend.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so that book is coming out later this year, and Blade Runner, the film, Blade Runner 2049, is coming out in the fall.
Yeah, well, remains to be seen how it does, but we'll be there for sure.
We will, and we will be talking about it.
Yeah.
Another movie we will be talking about shortly, in just a few short weeks, is Wonder Woman.
See.
And I'll be honest, I was not planning on having us discuss the final Wonder Woman trailer, which just dropped yesterday at the MTV Awards.
Right.
So did you see it, at the awards?
No, actually. We saw Spider-Man, and we saw It, and we saw a bunch of other things, but I do not recall the Wonder Woman one.
Well, have you seen it now?
No. I didn't.
Right,
We were going to talk about it.
In that case, we'll play some of the audio while Brian watches it.
Yeah. It's becoming a trend.
I know.
To the war.
Well, technically the war's that way, but we got to go this way first.
How can a woman fight in this? Ooh.
Who's this young woman?
She's my,
Diana, Princess of the
Prince, Diana Prince.
So, Brian.
Yes, Seki?
You've seen the trailer?
I have.
So, if
I'm not
I
the same
recall,
man I was 2.5 minutes ago.
Both of us were kind of ambivalent about the previous trailer.
Yeah.
We weren't underwhelmed. We weren't overwhelmed. We were just whelmed.
Uh-huh.
I gotta say, I really liked this one.
Yeah, me too. It stepped up in, I think, humor a little bit and showing a little peek at what the plot could be. And some of the action sort of veered into that overly gray, blue CGI background with a human in front of it thing. But, for the most part, it looked, I don't know. It looks cool. I really want this to be cool.
I read an interview with Patty Jenkins
Mm-hmm.
Recently. She's the director, and she was just lavishing praise on Superman the movie.
Mm.
And she's like, that's the template, and that's, my inspiration for Wonder Woman. And I'm like, sold, Patty.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I need to hear. So
Yeah.
I'm going into Wonder Woman a lot more optimistic than I would have been even 6 months ago.
Well, I thought it was funny, too, with Gal Gadot. When she was announced, I think a lot of people were resistant, because she seemed too small, or she didn't look like a warrior, or blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of made me laugh watching this, because it looks like she totally stepped into it and looks like she's going to be completely fine. But it's funny how whenever an actor is announced for some sort of role, we're all like, no, what?
Yeah.
Like Ben Affleck or her or whatever.
Or Michael Keaton as Batman.
Yeah, exactly. History keeps repeating itself. But yeah, she looks great. The action looks great. Chris Pine, I don't know if you saw him on SNL this past weekend. He was really fun on
great.
that.
He's great.
Yeah, he's great. So should be fun.
Chris Pine feels like a character actor trapped in a leading man body.
Yes, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
He sort of won the genetic lottery, but he seems almost like he's more comfortable doing non-leading roles.
Yeah, and he's really good at them. He's a really funny guy.
Yeah. And it is kind of a bummer, though, because you realize, well, Chris Pine's character, whether it happens in this film or not, we know that he has to die.
Right, for her to get to the present.
Yeah, because he's not part of the present DCEU, obviously, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll be like the Haley Atwell. Right?
Oh, sure.
Captain America.
That's essentially his role in the story, yeah.
Right.
And that's a good point. Tonally, this feels like Captain America: The First Avenger, at least just from the trailer.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And that's not a bad comparison to make.
No.
So that is coming out, just
June
in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that before you know it.
Yeah.
But moving on real quick, Brian, we got some Star Wars news.
We do. Star Wars news, I wonder who is in charge of when they dole out certain information. Like, I wonder if they have, like, a calendar where they're like, all right, here, just give them this. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those things where this isn't earth-shattering, but it's interesting. And you just wonder, I mean, they could have said this a month ago. They could say it 2 months from now, so I just kind of wonder how that works. But, this week in Star Wars news, we got a little tidbit from Rian Johnson saying that he had one request to the ending of The Force Awakens that he wanted J.J. Abrams to change, and that was at the end when Rey shows up in the Millennium Falcon to find Luke. Originally, J.J. Abrams was going to have BB-8 with her, which makes sense because that was the breakout droid of that movie, and they seem to have some sort of rapport going. But Rian Johnson was like, well, could you make it R2? And so that's what they did. So,
and why is that, you think?
Don't know. I mean, it makes sense to have Luke and R2 reunited.
Yes.
That seems pretty big to me. And then I saw some people online pointing out that BB-8 is like Poe's droid.
That's true also.
And I mean, I'm certain he's not going to be twiddling his thumbs in this movie, so BB-8 will have stuff to do. And it makes sense to me, right? I mean, and then someone else pointed out that it's going to be much more difficult for R2 to make all those steps where Luke is hanging out currently.
Yes,
but that's what you got Chewie for.
And for all we know, Luke walks down to him.
Yeah. Old friend.
He spent a lot of time standing on that cliff.
Yeah. Right.
He needs to stretch his legs. And while we're on the subject of Star Wars, I wanted to share, we'd gotten some comments on earlier episodes, but they were so Star Wars focused, I figured, well, rather than read them in listener letters, we'll just read them here.
Sure.
So this is from Rob Kelly, who says, one random thought about the episode, and he's referring to episode 116 a few weeks ago, where we talked about Celebration. Maybe part of the reason JJ and company didn't contrive a reason to have Luke, Leia, and Han together again was to make sure they didn't overshadow the new characters. The franchise cannot survive if it leaned too heavily on the older actors, Ford's truculence and Fisher's sudden demise being two real-world examples of why. Right. Not to be too cold about it, but imagine how stuck they would be if the original trio had been the main characters of the new movies.
That's true.
That said, I do wish they had found a way to do it, and who knows? There's a Han Solo funeral scene in Episode 8, so maybe we'll get it in some form. So is that true? There's a Han Solo funeral scene in Episode 8?
Oh, he was saying that like fact. I thought he was suggesting. I don't know, personally. I stay away from spoilers with these.
Yeah.
I don't feel as militant as I did with Force Awakens, but at the same time, I figure, I want to go in and just enjoy it.
Yeah. But he makes a good point.
Oh, what's that?
No, I mean, he makes a good point.
Oh, for sure. No, I completely agree. I mean, yeah, we want to see our gang, but at the same time, I think they did a good job of peppering them and introducing new leads that we like. So
I think, honestly, the way I look at it, what I've said about The Force Awakens is it's sort of, it feels like it comes after a trilogy that we never got. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I feel like there's a missing trilogy that we should have gotten instead of the prequels.
Sure.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, when you think about it, if we had known in 1999 that, there will be sequels. Wouldn't you have rather gotten those sequels then?
Yeah, while
the actors were relatively young.
Yeah.
Because that to me, it's like I'll always blame the prequels now for being what we got instead of the sequels. Because really, I mean, you could have done. My point is, like, you could do the prequels anytime,
right?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder too, because George Lucas had ideas for these sequels.
Yeah.
That Disney turned down.
Yeah.
I would just love to know what his aim was. Like, what was his next story? Who was it the story of?
Yeah.
I'd be really curious.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess one thing I say is, like, I wouldn't have minded if The Force Awakens was sort of constructed as the last hurrah of these original characters before they passed the baton. Like, we never got that. We never got that,
a handoff, for sure.
We never got the handoff. And instead, it it follows the structure of A New Hope with Han Solo in the Obi-Wan Kenobi role, which is fine. We're happy to get it, but kind of a shame.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think about this all the time. When I think of quibbles with Force Awakens or whatnot, I'm like, well, we're not done. Like,
we're not done.
There's going to be 3 movies, and we'll see what they all add up to.
Well, another comment that we have, and this is a comment on our commentary for Return of the Jedi. And this is from Bushra, who's one of our regulars, and she says, great commentary. When I was a kid, Return of the Jedi was my favorite Star Wars film because of the happy ending. I enjoyed hearing about the history you two have had with this movie and the pseudo-sequels. Ewoks in the Battle of Endor got a lot of play in our house. Sindel didn't really dwell too much on the fact that her family just died, did she? It's totally true. I hated her brother, though, man. I was glad when he died.
I can picture them exactly in my head right now. I remember so much about that movie. I just don't think about it, but when it comes back, it conjures all up again.
That brother, I was glad when he died. 2 deaths I've celebrated. Sindel's brother and Bob Kane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Mace. That was his name, Mace. Remember that? Because Lucas would just reuse names, right? So because Mace Windu, back when there was no, like, Mace Windu was like the name of the Obi-Wan character in the original version of Star Wars.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, or like something like that. I mean, you.
Yeah, sure. That's funny.
He didn't use it there, and then that's how Sindel's brother became the little girl.
It's funny too because I remember the Jedi at one point were going to be called the Jedi Bendu.
The Jedi Bendu, yeah. Which is like 2 syllables more than you need.
Yeah. Well, and then may the force of others be with you and all that. Like,
which I love that they actually incorporated that into Rogue One.
Yeah, me too. That was cool.
Right. Anyway, moving on from Sindel and Mace. He also says, looking forward to more of these Star Wars commentaries. We are too. We look forward to doing these. With one request. Any chance of doing a Spaceballs commentary before episode 1? That would be kind of interesting, actually.
That would be actually kind of interesting.
I don't know what we would do. I feel like that's one of those things where for sure we would just be quoting the movie and laughing. I think
there's like a little bit we could talk about, and then I imagine it would just be like hanging out, with hopefully, just hanging out with us talking through the movie.
Yeah.
That could be kind of fun, actually.
I'm not opposed to the idea.
Yeah, I rewatched it not that long ago, and it's... Oh, really? I still love it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
My kids want to watch it, and I'm like kind of on the fence about that.
I know it's one of the cleaner Mel Brooks movies, but I haven't watched it thinking about a little kid in mind. But
I mean, there's the whole assholes run.
Oh yeah.
How many assholes we got on this ship? And I'm like, okay, do I? Because I know for sure that like my second, he'll pick that up.
He's just gonna go and run with it.
Oh my god, yeah. And then I'm gonna hear about it.
That's so funny.
That's the thing. I mean, that's these kids now. They're at that age now where they're testing. So they'll be like, they'll introduce something new into their vernacular.
Mm-hmm.
That they've heard elsewhere, but they're now they're testing it in the home environment.
Really? Oh, that's
kind of.
So you have to do that. Where did you hear that?
Yeah, or just like we don't talk like that in the house.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
And it's one of those things. I mean, this is something that I think about all the time because it's like, I mean, I'm all about the particular power of the perfectly placed profanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not opposed to that, but I'm also like boundaries,
Right.
So I don't know. But yeah, Spaceballs. I don't see why not. We can certainly try to squeeze that in.
Why not? I mean, get on the horn and watch Spaceballs with my bud.
Yeah, doing commentaries is not backbreaking
no
labor for us. So, but that wraps up Star Wars news, Brian.
Well, I guess we're done talking about space movies.
Not quite, my friend. We still have a little bit of show left, and we have a brand new release to talk about.
Being.
You really got to come to rehearsal, Brian. So this is the first weekend of May that has just ended, and that means summer movie season has officially started.
Mm-hmm.
And first weekend of May means a brand new Marvel movie. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is finally out.
Yeah, and this was one I was just totally looking forward to. Like,
you were looking forward to it.
I was. It was funny because I was talking with some people at work today, and they were like, yeah, I want to see it, but it wasn't one I was anticipating necessarily. I'm like, seriously? This is like one of the only Marvel movies I was anticipating. Like, the other ones, I know they're going to come. I mean, that's not like a slam against them. I just, we're going to get this, and we're going to get that, and whatever. But this one feels so different from those that I was really excited for this departure to happen again.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and you were not alone, Brian.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it opened to, I think, just under $150 million.
Yep.
Over the 3-day weekend, which is a substantial jump from the first one, which opened to 93 million, 94 million, something like that. And it's weird how quickly, like the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and the reaction was generally like, "What the hell, Guardians of the Galaxy? That sounds stupid." Right? I remember our old pal Sean Coyle on this show was very confident that it would be the first Marvel Studios flop.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
And I mean, he wasn't alone either. I think a lot of people were like, okay, well, you know, their Midas touch isn't going to last forever.
Uh-huh.
And of course, it came out and it was gangbusters. And really, I mean, when you look at the ubiquity of Chris Pratt right now, it's because of Marvel Studios.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I mean, they just sprinkled fairy dust on him and made him a player. So the second one came out, great reviews, a great cinema score. It's got an A from the fans, and I would say deservedly so. I thought it was terrific.
I loved it. Yeah, I really loved it.
Well, that's a relief.
Before we went into it, I had seen sort of mixed. Like, I enjoyed it, but it's not as good as the first. I was seeing that a lot. And so I was like, oh no, like I don't want to go in walking out like, yeah, it was good. I was looking forward to it. No, I loved it. I had a great time with this movie.
Well, nice. I think we're in agreement on this one, but I do want to talk some spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, let's hit it.
All right.
Spoilers.
So, you know, it seems like every sequel, before it comes out, they say one of two things. They're like, this is The Empire Strikes Back, or this is The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah,
it's like one of those two. This one did feel like The Empire Strikes Back.
It did very much. Yes, I thought that, especially when Peter was hanging out with his father. It reminded me a lot of Cloud City.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I'm so glad you thought that too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot of those sort of the feeling and the tone,
the sense of impending.
Yes. The
happen.
guy that you're happy to see, but no one else trusts, and.
Well, and the beauty of the film is it's got a lot of Empire Strikes Back, and then there's a little bit of Wrath of Khan there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I mean, let's kind of go through somewhat in a linear fashion.
Sure.
First of all, the movie starts out, and we get the now requisite shot of a big star de-aged to look like he did in his prime.
Right.
I feel like that's like a Marvel thing now.
Yeah.
But damned if it doesn't work.
It looks so good. I know.
So I've seen this movie twice now.
Oh, okay.
So I saw the press show, and then I went with the boys, and so I was really paying attention again. And it's a flawless process at this point.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it's like that's 1980s Kurt Russell.
Isn't that funny? I mean, and it used to be prosthetics.
Right.
It'd be some sort of makeup. I mean, they've done this before, de-age and age actors. It's not like some sort of like blasphemy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just amazing that they have this technology now where they can make it flawless.
Absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because I think that one of the smart things the film does is that it really plays Kurt Russell close to the chest, and it leans on the fact that we love Kurt Russell.
Yes.
To make his eventual heel turn feel both kind of like you kind of see it coming, but it still feels like a shock.
And it's funny because I didn't want it to happen.
Right.
And the fact that everyone around him was feeling off, I was like, oh, well, it is going to happen.
Right.
But I kept being like, but it's what you said. It's like Kurt Russell's smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we know him and we like him, and that adds a lot to how we feel about this character. It's so true. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I was looking at, It's funny, because it feels like whenever one of these Marvel movies comes out, what I see on social media, everybody does their rankings of the MCU. And I'm kind of at a point now where it's similar to you, where it's like, I don't need to rank these things. Because I'm going to like them.
Right.
So it's like, here's another one I'm going to like. But I will say, of the MCU number 2 movies, I would put this a very close second to like The Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Which is so hard for me because I can't even put these in the same, like they just feel so different from one another.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And that's kind of interesting too, because you forget that this movie exists within the MCU.
Mm-hmm. Which I kind of dig.
I was about to say, to its credit, because it really exists in its own little corner.
Yeah.
And I think that shows a level of comfort that we should really give props to James Gunn.
Oh man, yeah.
Because this guy has figured it out.
Yeah, yeah.
He's figured out how to work within the system, quote unquote, and yet make something that feels very personal.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't think of any overt ties to the everything that's going on in the other MCU movies. There's no Thanos in this.
Right. He's referenced, but
he's not a character. They're not chasing after another Infinity Stone. Like it feels like its own thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of nice because there's like the comfort level of, it's part of the universe. That's cool. But it doesn't feel like homework.
Absolutely. And I was even thinking, this feels like a 21st century Star Wars. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, I still feel like the Star Wars stories are maybe a little deeper or a little richer than what we're given with these, but it's another gang of characters that we really like that aren't, yes, they are based on a comic book, but like they're not from something that's being remade. Like it still feels original.
Yeah.
And everybody's showing up for it. Like that just feels super unique in every way. Which I think is kind of exciting, actually.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
What were some of the highlights for you?
Well, when you said start at the beginning, I actually had forgotten about that little opening thing. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking of Groot.
Oh, my gosh.
Dancing.
This is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
And it's funny, too, because during the middle of the movie, when I was looking at him, I'm like, yes, if you want to be cynical, you can be like, of course they're doing this because he's going to sell toys.
He's like Minions.
He's like manipulation. But I'm like, well, don't we like that sometimes? Like,
right.
That's why it works. Like, I love this thing. Like,
it's funny because one of the mid-credit sequences is like teenage Groot.
Yes.
With his voice cracking.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. But I was kind of like, oh.
I know. But yeah, you open it up with this, setting up this huge battle with a space monster against our heroes. And then the camera just follows Baby Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky.
Right.
As the battle's going on behind him out of focus. And the theater was just loving it. I was loving it.
Oh, sure.
It was great.
And it nicely echoes the first one, which also starts with a dance number.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I love the Groot stuff. I actually, when the crew gets separated,
mm-hmm.
that was when I was like, oh, they're doing like an Empire Strikes Back thing.
Yeah, that's right.
But I thought it was really interesting how, the stuff that they add about the Ravagers and whatnot, how it deepens the character of Yondu, played by Michael Rooker, but it also deepens the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not gonna lie, end of the movie, I rolled a tear.
Oh yeah.
Second time I saw it, I rolled a tear.
Yeah.
Not the first time, second time, which I thought was interesting. It's a little embarrassing, but hey, this is our show. I feel comfortable opening up to you, Brian.
You want to know when I rolled a tear?
What's that?
I told my brother afterwards, I was like, this is one of the top 10 things I wish I had come up with.
Okay.
When Kurt Russell is talking with Chris Pratt, and he's saying like, I have these abilities, but you being my son, you have these abilities too.
Yeah.
And so he's showing him, he's like, try it, stick your hands out. And Chris Pratt's able to make this like little ball of energy
right
between his hands with his father he had never known his whole life. And then he tosses it to Kurt Russell, and then Kurt Russell tosses the ball of energy back. They start playing with each other. And it's like science fiction Field of Dreams.
Right.
And I was like, this is the funniest, sweetest, most clever thing I think I've seen in years. Like, that is so funny on so many levels.
That's really
and
funny.
the emotion of it, and like the sort of dopey face that Chris Pratt's making, like, I'm playing catch with my dad with my light ball. You know, like, I just...
You know what's funny, though, is that scene, the second time you watch it, you're able to sort of plug in what you now know, you know?
That's interesting.
You know, so when he's like trying to get him to use the energy to tap that energy, you see his hands start glowing, and he's so excited. Kurt Russell, he's like, yes, yes, you know. And you're like, when you first watch it, you're like, oh, see, he's so proud because he's connecting.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's because he's had to kill all his other kids, and he's like, oh, I don't have to kill this one.
Yeah,
isn't that funny?
Yeah. I've only seen it once, so I didn't think that at all.
It was like when the second time you watch it, you're like, oh, geez. I mean, it's really interesting because it ends up being a film about fathers and sons in a way that I didn't expect. I didn't expect the Yondu arc to pay off the way it did.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the whole thing with the Ravagers and how, I mean, they build up to him sacrificing himself in a way that feels completely earned.
Yes.
Because of all, like, I mean, and we just watched the first one, you know, a couple of days ago, so they're kind of linked very close together. But the whole thing, like, well, why did he abduct him and all this? And he abducted him because he was paid to do it, but he kept him because he wanted to save his life.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love that, you know?
It's so great.
And he sacrificed everything. In that, you know, he's been kicked out of his colleagues, nobody respects him, and it's because he can't say the real reason. It's because he became a son to me.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Yeah.
And so the payoff of that, when he says he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! I mean, I'm literally like, what's this salty discharge?
Yeah. Yeah. Great death too.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Yeah, up in space, getting frozen. And then related to that, when Kurt Russell's character reveals this to Peter, gosh. And then again, like Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back, and he's like, you know, that's why I had to put the tumor in your mother's head.
Oh my God!
And then he just starts firing like immediately, like not even like a what, why, what, like he just I was like, whoa.
And it's the way he says it. He's so cavalier about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's I put the tumor in her head because it was about me.
Yeah.
You know, and just, I mean, he didn't love her.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think this is James Gunn's genius, is he follows that immediately with the great laugh moment where he becomes David Hasselhoff.
Right.
And I think this is something interesting, because I think these Marvel movies get a lot of grief because, they always go for the laugh. I think that actually it's Guardians that does that. Like that, I feel like the laugh quotient is highest in these two movies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yet it's never like, you know, it's not going for a cheap laugh.
No. They always feel like character correct.
I mean, even the sequence where you have Baby Groot trying to get the fin and he has no idea what he's supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I really like that sequence. I mean, it's funny, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But the payoff is that Sean Gunn's character gets the fin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know, I didn't mean to... They killed all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean for this to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And it gives you an insight into him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get these great laugh moments, but it's always about accentuating the emotional undercurrent.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Even the stuff with Drax, which I think is terrific.
Mm-hmm.
I think the relationship between him and Mantis is really sweet.
I loved everything about them. Like how very different they are. But they have this sort of weird buddy bond,
right? In
a sort of way that isn't romantic,
right?
Like they just sort of are so opposite that they're can't help but be by each other. And then like the moment where she's, you know, sensing, or you know, she can read other people's emotions, and when she puts her hand on him and she just starts crying,
Right.
I was like, oh, that's amazing.
When he's talking about his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and the whole, I think that the way we get a sense of depth in without being hit over the head with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think for all of them, I think with Rocket too,
Yeah. Yeah, he had a good moment of that. I remember in the first one, that was one of my favorite moments when, they're picking on him or calling him an experiment or whatever, and he gets, like, almost teary-eyed angry.
Right.
And it's funny because then Drax, it's very different, but I mean, he gets a similar moment where you get this emotional sense of what's really at his core, which is this sadness, but you would never know it because he just doesn't show it. The sort of like aloof expression he has on his face while she's feeling his sadness was such like great acting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Other things that jumped out at you?
What was I gonna say?
We haven't talked about Stallone at all.
Oh yeah. That was fun.
It's a Tango and Cash reunion, right. Even though they don't actually connect.
Right.
But it's also a cliffhanger reunion.
That's right. I saw that because I think you posted that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have thought of that.
I was like, it's more of a cliffhanger reunion because they actually get some scenes together.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you caught at the end, we got cameos by Ving Rhames.
Right.
And Michelle Yeoh.
Mm-hmm. And Miley Cyrus, apparently.
And Miley Cyrus's voice.
Which I didn't even know. I read that she was in it afterwards, and I was like, huh? I had to look it up.
Yeah, it's they actually got quite a few cameos in there. Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Oh, who's he?
He's the guy with the crystal face.
Oh, funny.
And Jeff Goldblum has a cameo in the end as the character who he plays in Thor.
Wait, where was he in the end?
He's in the credits, apparently. I missed it.
Oh, I did see that, but I didn't. The only time I saw him in the credits was when they had like those little bubbles going up and people were dancing in them. I saw him dancing in one of the bubbles, but I didn't see him in any clips.
It's the dance in the bubble, yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was really random, but I was like, they must have just had that from Thor or something. They're like,
right.
Just dance for a second.
I love the character of Taserface.
Yeah.
Who's so stupid.
Yeah.
And that they hang a light shade on it by saying, yeah. Is stupid.
It's something else I'd written down that I loved, going back to the father-son stuff, which is great. All the father-son stuff was really strong, was when they're escaping and Ego, as the planet, is, trying to collapse on itself or destroy everybody. And Quill is saying, like, of course I'm a messed up person. Like, that thing's my dad. And you see this, like, ghoul of, like, Kurt Russell reforming. And then they, like, smash through him with a ship. Hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of, there's an embarrassment of riches, I think this is one of those films that I could have easily seen it tip over into sort of self-parody.
Yes.
And it's weird because, like, this is James Gunn's second time out, right? So as far as these Marvel movies, we had Jon Favreau come back and do Iron Man 2, which was generally less well received, and then Joss Whedon came back and did Avengers 2.
Right.
Which was also generally less well received.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, what did James Gunn crack that allowed him to not have that similar experience?
I wonder if it's that he doesn't have to service so many other things. Mm-hmm. Like, he just gets to take care of this little corner of the universe.
Right.
That is very distinctly his. I wonder if that's a big part of it, honestly.
That makes sense to me. But he's even talked about how, like, he was given no notes or anything. They just kind of left him to his own devices.
Wow.
And that's fascinating to me because this is a major franchise now for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of like, have they learned their lesson maybe?
Maybe.
After kind of whatever happened.
Yeah. I understand where some of those other films, Captain America and whatnot, have to have a connectivity between them.
Yes.
It is liberating, I think, as a viewer even, that this one doesn't.
Right.
But, that would be a task. certainly for those writers and directors.
I mean, it's funny, right? Because I think when we look at, again, I'm using Winter Soldier as a point of comparison only because I think that's like the strongest sequel that Marvel's done, right? But the difference there is that in the Captain America films, that was almost a completely different movie than the first Captain America.
That's true.
Right? So, I mean, different director, but different tone. Different everything, right? And so it stood apart. This, the concern going in was if this is such the delicate balancing act, if the first one was such a delicate balancing act, are they just going to tip over?
Right.
Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like Transformers 2. Right? Is like, oh, it's just more of the same, but it's so much worse.
right.
And this could have become that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you want another example, like Man of Steel, which you and I both were like okay with, and then, oh, here's BVS, which is more of the same, and it's like, oh my God, right?
Right.
And so this could have easily become that.
Yeah.
I
did have one sort of thing that I wish was a little different, and this isn't necessarily specifically to this movie, but there's a lot of times with action in these movies, I think because it's all done in a computer and people aren't having to necessarily think of these things tangibly.
Yes.
Like there's a part, where like a ship is flying through the core of this planet and they're just sort of blasting their way through it. And it's almost like there's no, like everything that they're blasting their ship through may as well just be made of like styrofoam. Like there's no like hard edges to anything. It's just they got to blast their way through a million things. They'll blast their way through a million things. You got to blast your way through like a asteroid. You'll just blast your way. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no, like when you think of the Millennium Falcon flying through the asteroid field, because those things were sort of real and they had like a model and they had to sort of coordinate, and there's, you know what I mean? There's actually coordination. That's the word. There feels like a real coordination to navigating it through these heavy tangible objects. And there were some moments in here where the CGI just felt a little, it's a symptom of, I guess, what it is by nature, but it just feels a little flimsy or thin or just sort of flat.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like
that's kind of what you're saying. Like, well, there's no way around it.
Yes.
So it's kind of like just you got to roll with it.
Yeah, like the third act goes a little CG nuts.
Well, and they almost play with that. Like when you have the 700 jumps that they have to make.
Yes. Yeah.
And it turns into like a Ren and Stimpy cartoon, basically.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But what the reason we were walking, the people I saw it with, we all agreed that like the third act went a little CG nuts for us. But the reason we didn't care was because we liked these people so much.
The characters were grounded in a way that
like we care about the people this is happening around. And then you have these moments where all this craziness is going on and you have this like 4-minute conversation about trying to find tape.
Right.
To tape off the button. And that was one of the things when that whole moment started, I was a little disappointed that they had put it in the trailer because I was like, oh, this is so funny, but I've seen this.
Right.
And they did ruin some of it, but then it goes on for like 2.5 more minutes.
They make it a runner.
Yeah, and it's like the funniest part is what they left out of the trailer, in my opinion, which I really appreciated. I thought that was so funny.
Where he keeps going to all the different people.
Yeah, but
He's
don't
like, what about
it.
Nebula? Yeah, she doesn't have it. You didn't ask Nebula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's just like, Scotch tape will work.
Right.
You don't have it. Then why would you even ask?
I just love that these space people are talking about Scotch tape.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, but I mean, just overall, another very solid entry from the MCU.
Yeah, and say the soundtrack. That was such a big part of the first film. Again, they go back to a lot of these 70s classics, which was a lot of fun and completely works. I mean, it completely gives the film the soul that it's going for.
Yeah, and I mean, some really inspired inclusions. I mean, Brandy, which is a great song. They actually, like, that becomes part of the narrative, which I love. But I especially like that Cat Stevens is there at the end.
Yep.
And it's a perfect song for that. And I love that you can make David Hasselhoff kind of was my dad, and it's like an emotional moment as opposed to like hilarious.
Yeah.
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 There is there's like 5 post-credit scenes.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to bring those up.
Or mid-credit scenes, I should say. So one of them is you have Sylvester Stallone and Ving Rhames and Michelle Yeoh, etc., and they're essentially playing versions of the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, which I did not know. I had to look that up.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. In the comic books, the original Guardians of the Galaxy are actually set. It's set in the future. It's set in the year 3000. And those were so the current, like the ones in the movies, those are the new Guardians of the Galaxy, even though they're set in the quote unquote present. So so we have Stallone playing a character called Stakar, who is Starhawk in the comics, and then various other the guy. I don't know if you saw, he's like a red, like lizard looking guy.
Yeah,
and he does like a Doctor Strange type thing.
I did notice.
He did, you know how Doctor Strange like waves his hand and like weird light thing. So he did that.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Well, actually, I do remember that now. Yeah.
So he is a character called Krugar, who in the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, who replaces Doctor Strange, who lives to be like Doctor Strange in like the future becomes the Ancient One. So he's as old, and his student is this weird red lizard looking guy. So there you go. There's your little nerd trivia.
Yeah, nice.
And then there's that the sovereign woman Aisha, who she says, "Oh, this I'm going to name him Adam." She has this cocoon. So that's a character called Adam Warlock, who, if you've read the Infinity Gauntlet comic, he is the person who fights Thanos, and he takes control of the Infinity Gauntlet and keeps watch over it. So if I were to guess, I would say he will be a character in the Infinity War movie. I have no idea, though. And I'm trying to think, what was the other? Oh, and then there was one more. The final post-credit scene was Stan Lee talking to the Watchers.
Right.
So these are characters who watch. They like to watch, if you know what I mean. But based on what he says, there's a fan theory that Stan Lee, every character that he plays in his cameos, is actually the same person.
Right.
And so this his role in this seems to confirm that.
Right. That he is on Earth as a spy for these people.
Yeah.
And he's talking about his adventures.
Yeah, he's like, oh, and then I was a FedEx delivery guy, which of course he was in Civil War.
Yeah.
Which actually, this is going to blow your mind. That actually doesn't make a lot of sense, because this movie is set 3 years before Civil War.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this movie is set right after Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that's funny.
Whereas Civil War is set right now.
Did they establish that, the first one? I mean, like, does it even matter what year these movies take place?
Do they establish in the first one when it's set?
Yeah. Yeah.
The prologue where his mother dies is 1988.
Oh, I see.
And then we pick up 24 years later.
I see.
Right? 24, I think, is my math right.
Lock themselves into that one.
Or 26 years later, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, it starts in 1980, right? And it says 34 years later.
Oh, funny.
So that means it's like... And plus, Groot is still a baby.
Yes, right.
So it's set right after the first one.
That's funny.
Yeah. Way to go, Marvel.
Think about that.
Yeah. Where's my no prize, Marvel?
Yeah.
But I think that wraps up this discussion. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm really glad to hear that you liked it.
Well, these conversations are always. I feel like it's like tense. Like, are we gonna?
Yeah.
Is this gonna become a fight? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? But yeah, I dug it, and like I said, I liked it slightly more the second time, and so you may end up. These are movies you end up watching with your folks. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I showed the first one to them.
So maybe the second time you watch it will be with them, and maybe that'll be I'm curious to hear what they end up thinking.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, yeah, as they've become Marvel fans. So I was even thinking that during the movie. I was like, oh, well, I'm sure they're going to dig this.
Well, and as we wrap up this conversation, we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about Alien Covenant. But we will hopefully be back slightly before that to talk about Aliens. So got some fun stuff coming up. Anything you want to hype up, Brian, while we got you?
Yeah, I'm currently writing on a children's show called Puppy Dog Pals, which you can check out on Disney and Disney Junior, and I highly recommend it. I think your kids will love it.
There we go. And as for me, you can find me at my website, ZakisCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle. And, I'm always posting stuff. Lots of politics and lots of movie stuff. So if you dig those, I think you will enjoy, seeing what I have to say.
Yeah.
Also, as I say each and every episode, please go to iTunes and leave us a review, leave a star rating. Even if it's one word, even if it's 2 words, every little bit helps and helps spread the word. If you are liking what we're doing, please do let other people know. We're also on Twitter and TuneIn Radio and Google Play. Everywhere you find podcasts, this show is there. Also, I want to make you aware of the Nostalgia Theater show. I mentioned last week that a brand new podcast commentary dropped for Star Trek The Motion Picture. We will also have Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, coming very shortly, as well as a new episode of the regular show. So lots of fun stuff happening.
Very cool.
And with that, this has been MovieFilm. What number was this?
18?
MovieFilm 118. Good Lord.
We're so bad.
We really are. Summer movie season is here, and we'll be pretty busy over the next few months.
Yeah,
so keep listening.
Hope some good stuff.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast. Okay.